Today I'm going to show you how to use the new CAT Fluid Selector tool, which is an excellent service that Caterpillar has now made publicly available, which will enable you to identify the correct CAT oil and grease for various compartments on both Caterpillar and non-CAT equipment. Right, so let's go to the website. So if I go up to my browser bar, I can simply type in catfluidselector.com. I'll hit enter. That will redirect me to this web location here. So my suggestion is the first thing you do is you bookmark this page so that you can come back at any time. So the first thing I notice at this opening page is the only region available is North America. I assume there is a plan to roll this out to some region-specific features. I don't see it as a major issue at this stage, apart from all the units are in imperial. So there are some sections where you'll see an oil capacity for a particular sump, and it will be in gallons. Other than that, it's all good to go. So the only options at this stage on the opening page is to select the language. So I'm going to go with English. Right, so the first thing I notice on this search page is a couple of options across the top. I can search CAT equipment, or I can search all equipment, and I can toggle between the two. If I scroll down the page, I see down the bottom there's an option to flick back and forward as well. There's a link here, Truth or Myth, which is a short video about fluids and filters, and there's a link there to the US filter shop. That's that North America specific feature there. Right, so let's get going. Let's look at some equipment. So I'm going to select Search CAT Equipment. First thing that does is it takes me to this little search box here. So if I know the model number, I can simply type it in and click Go. Alternatively, I'm not 100% clear on the model number, or I can look by machine family. So supposing I'm looking for a wheel loader, I can filter this here and identify loaders. And that switches on this sub-filter here, which should show me all of the CAT model numbers for loaders. So today I'm going to have a look at the 950K. Right, so that takes me to a summary page here. So I've got the primary recommendation here for engine oil. It's recommending the ULS because we have a DPF fitted on this bit of gear. I have a quick summary on the make and model of the equipment I'm looking at. And then what I have is a series of sections for each compartment. So I can collapse or expand all of those compartments. So let's have a look at the engine oil first. See, the recommendation is CAT DO ULS. There is a reference there to some notes. So I can have a look down the bottom of the page to note A, which just lets me know that there's an alternative recommendation that if your ambient temperature is between -18 and 40, you can use a 10W30 oil. We also have the sump capacity there in gallons, as I mentioned. Really useful link here to a product data sheet that will open up in a separate window. We can either download that or print that out. So periodically we can work through the different compartments. There's a transmission recommendation, the hydraulics recommendation, the grease recommendation, differentials. It's all there. So let's have a look further down. We have bits of notes related to each of the sections. Something useful here is all the oil change intervals. Engine, transmission, hydraulic. Notice there that the hydraulic has 3,000 hours. You may be aware that with CAT Hydro Advanced you have extended drains up to 6,000 hours using SOS. I can just reconfirm that. I can go up to the hydraulics. I can look at my product data sheet. And there it is. It confirms that 6,000 hour extended drain intervals are possible. Alright, let's look at some other equipment. Let's go back to Search CAT Equipment. In this case I do know the model number, so I'm going to look up 304 mini excavator. I've got a couple of options there. Let's have a look at this one. We'll see that the engine oil recommendation is 15W40 Cat DEO. We've got all the various compartments, same as before. Some notes. Interesting to highlight here that we only have an oil change interval for the hydraulic system. So just a heads up that this system is still in development, and you won't get a comprehensive list of oil change intervals on every bit of equipment. I assume that's something that CAT's working on, but it's a massive job. Alright, so now let's have a look at non-CAT equipment. So we go search all equipment. Very much the same page as for CAT specific. If you know the model number, you can put it in this box and hit go. If you're not totally sure, you can use these drop down filters. So let's find a Komatsu wheel loader, for example. So I go to loaders. Now that opens up this second sub-filter, which will give me all the OEMs that have loaders. So I can find Komatsu, and that gives me a list of all the Komatsu loaders. So if I have a look down to WA500s, let's have a look at one of those. Similar sort of layout as before. We've got each of the compartments available. So we've got the ULS recommendation. You can see that's North American specific, offering the 10W30, but if we go to note A, you can see that 15W40 is fine if the ambient is minus 15 to 50, which is the case in Australia and New Zealand. I'd like to point out here, no oil change interval information. As I mentioned just a moment ago, that's something that's going to take some time to update all that information. If I look at some of the compartments, you'll see there's no recommendation. It's not totally clear whether that is because the cat oil isn't approved or whether it hasn't been updated yet. But you'll see there are some components here that have a recommendation. So cat tractor oil is approved for the front and rear differentials on the Komatsu WA500 wheel loader. Let's quickly have a look at another bit of non-cat gear. So if I know the model number, I can put that straight in there. So I can put in SK45, and that identifies the Kobelco SK45 mini excavator. See, we get a couple of engine oil recommendation here. So you can use Cat DEO 15W40, but DEO ULS is a primary recommendation to perform better. We have two product data sheets we could look up there. We'll see some gaps in the transmission hydraulics. And again, there's no oil change intervals. Alright, so that's the Cat Fluid Selector tool. I hope you found this video helpful.